Hey everybody, and welcome back. This is the 9th war of the season. We're starting the final week, and I could probably just run like a bumper at the beginning of all these videos because the bands are exactly the same. We've got Torch and Herc and Ghost. The team is going to basically be Apocalypse and Man-Thing today, and I did have room for the cable synergy so that Apoc can start ramped up. There's going to be a lot of Apoc action. I was able to take all the fights with a 6-hour boost. So even though some of them were a little bit more straightforward, there's a couple mini bosses at the end, so I do have the 30% going. And the first node is path 4, Korg, and when I was preparing for this fight, I actually over-prepared because there's this line about 100% increased defensive ability accuracy in the description, and in my head I was reading that as my Purify stopping ability, the ability like the anti-shrug of Apocalypse would fail, but then Nerd, one of our officers, reminded me that's not a defensive ability, which I should have known, so I am going to be able to parry freely. And the only thing I have to worry about is occasionally my parries aren't going to stick because of the insult to injury node. Like right there, it did not stick. I did the light whiffing thing and it didn't really work there. So I did practice that, and it's kind of embarrassing that it didn't work. But we do have the power back boosts and we do have the power start 1. So I only took a little bit of chip damage. Good dex on the special 1 there. And we already have another special 2. This is going to all land before the thorns come back even, which is pretty nice. And then here we go, one more parry and some light attacks, and he goes down. Oh, he doesn't go down, then he goes down. So yeah, not much to that fight. I was trying to see if it was like an Apocalypse trap, but I guess aside from a parry failing, then that's about it. And the weakness really doesn't stop him in his tracks at all when you have class advantage and everything. So yeah, just watch your light attacks, don't take the thorns damage, and you should be all set. So this one is not an ideal matchup. I can see why they placed Magneto here because the Hard Knock Life node Apocalypse can normally completely destroy, but because we are metal, we're going to have to deal with having lowered ability accuracy, which means a lot of the time our parries aren't going to stick. It's going to be harder to get some openings, and high ground is going to definitely be climbing. Additionally, if strike counter gets out of control, then his blocks are not only going to shoot us with high ground, but they're just going to be doing a lot of damage in general, plus the base block penetration of Red Magneto. So obviously, blocked hits are going to hurt in this fight as it goes on. But my game plan is to parry right from the start before I get magnetized, but he dashes back and I'm already magnetized. Unfortunately, I had to just sort of take that and not get my first opening, so that was a drag. There, get a nice little intercept. We're doing some backdraft lights. Fortunately, that works out. Right there, I was really feeling the increased combat power rate that you get from a rank 4 because I was able to get all the way up to a special 2. So unfortunately, the spacing was bad there for punishing. I think I'd have a missed input after this, so I do just throw this one. Fortunately, we got the weakness on him. Right there, I don't know what I did. And then right here, I think I miss an intercept and take a bunch of damage. Right there, yeah, I thought I had the timing down, but didn't. So I'm just having a little bit of trouble finding this opening, and that's on me. I did practice finding the openings, but I panicked a little bit. And we bank off of the wall and throw this. I'm still winning the HP battle. I just have to be a little careful. Really good stand-up intercept right there. I had to just kind of be a little aggressive because I wanted to keep this fight rolling and not run into any trouble. High ground is definitely climbing. Don't want to take any more blocked hits. I'm thinking maybe I can bank off the back wall if he comes toward me, and we do get a nice bank. I do bait this special and then go straight in, and that doesn't quite kill him. I start hitting his block and it surprises me that I stunned him. I actually could have finished him off right there if I had caught this stun actually stuck. But here we go. We're gonna just bait this, and we have the spacing right this time, and that'll take him down. So yeah, there were maybe 2 failed intercepts there. The intercepts were not safe, and that's on me. but it is Apocalypse with 80k health, so taking a couple risks and healing up isn't the end of the world. If I wasn't as aggressive, maybe the high ground would have gotten even worse, so it's okay. Not my cleanest fight, but going metal against Magneto is not really the best idea, but it was the best thing that fit here. And next up we have Tigra. The disorient I'm already immune to. The block penetration isn't really going to matter because the way that I would die to her would be, getting attacked by a special 2. So in general, we're just trying to nuke the fight down. I was thinking in the back of my head, maybe we could do Withers, but then I was like, I'm pretty sure one special 2 is going to start the beginning of the end of this fight, so I didn't even bother with the Withers. Might have to bait a special 1 at some point. There she goes. We had the spacing right, so no issues there. And I'm thinking if I just hit one more time, the special 2 will get her down the rest of the way. So there we go, back-to-back special 2s. Tigra does not have a ton of health, so we were able to mow through that very quickly and safely. And next up, we have the Man-Thing fight. I've taken Hulkbuster here. I've taken Silver Surfer here. This is the first time taking Guardian. And fortunately, DLL was on path 3, I believe, so he was able to put all the Reed pre-fights here. That's only going to help because I have Petrify 3 out of 3, so the additional Petrify from a 6-star Reed is going to be even more reversing of the healing. It's basically going to completely shut down Buffet if it wasn't a problem before. So miss a parry, one hit, throw the special, we put the Postules on him. Again, missed another parry, but we got the reparry. So the armor break, you notice if he doesn't have armor, it's always safe to throw the special 1. The suppression debuff is really helping because he hasn't even thrown a special yet. We do bait out this special. You can see it said regeneration, but really didn't do much of anything because we are at this point either fully blocking it or reversing it. I'm looking, he has the armor, which means my special 2 could probably get auto blocked. So I'm going to bait this out and throw a special 3, just kind of reset the fight. My hope is that when I proc the armor breaks that I will get rid of the armor, but that doesn't always work for some reason. There's probably a reason for that, but I haven't looked into it. In my duels, I was able to remove the armor almost every time. But regardless, here we go. Again, missed parry. I can't seem to land parries with Man-Thing today. I don't know what's going on there. There we go. Finally get it. The armor break doesn't remove the armor, so I decide to throw the special 1. It doesn't get auto blocked, so that's lucky. If it did get auto blocked, I would have the spacing down anyway. And then this one does get auto blocked, but he goes down. So a very, very safe fight. The coolest thing about it is even if I throw either of my specials, it creates enough distance so that the auto block won't be a problem, and it'll just put the Postules on him anyway. With the Reed pre-fights, it was 100% safe. Even without it, it probably would have been fine. And then we have 2 mini bosses. This is my first time fighting Jabari this season. The boosting that I have is almost overkill, which if you believe there's such a thing as overkill, because again, she doesn't have a ton of health. And there's a few things going for me here. The fact that most of my debuffs are going to be applied when I'm attacking, not when she's attacking me, if that makes sense. So for the most part, Apocalypse's debuffs can stick. You just have to be careful that your parries won't. And also when you stun through the block, you have to just make sure that the cleanse mechanic isn't active. The power back booster there, it does have safeguard nodes, so they may not do a lot, but we will see some interesting stuff. So we're gonna, right here I stun her, but I forget that the cleanse is still up, so I went through my indestructible, but she only tagged me twice, so I still have one more free hit if needed. I'm gonna be holding block to try to push her to a special 2, but she throws the special 1, so I just have to be a little careful that she doesn't go into the hunt, or at least if she does go into the hunt, that I'm ready for it. Accidentally parried there, so I gave her more Huntress charges. Very free with throwing that special 1, but I do have the evade down, and we can pretty freely throw this because we do not have cleanse. And notice this big crit at the end. Now you're probably wondering, 16k, how did that happen with safeguard? Well, it's because of the concussion. If you remember like way back in Road to the Labyrinth. That was the first time that we saw Safeguard in the game. You may not even remember that as we're baiting the Special 2, but back then you could use like Falcon or Black Widow with the ability accuracy reduction to get past Safeguard, and in that case the concussion works. It kind of checks every hit that you have, and it's like I'm reducing the Safeguard on this hit and then it hits for full value. So yeah, that ended up working out great. I just kind of treated it like when I took the Jabari boss a season ago. It was just sort of bait the heavies, bait her Special 2, and win the game. And then finally, we have this America Chavez. She's always a blast to fight everywhere, I guess, being sarcastic. On my last video, which I will link with a card, I give a much more thorough explanation of how to do this fight. But on today's video, I'm just going to kind of let it roll. Once again, DLL with his 6-star rank 4 Reed was able to take some fights. So he was able to give me 6 total pre-fights over the last couple of fights here. We have all 3 against her. So I want to bait a Utopian Parallel, but she throws it right at the beginning and it caught me off guard. So I took a couple hits and then she throws another one into the air. So we already have 2 negative zones and I'm like, screw this, I'm going to throw my Special 1. The way Stunning Reflection works is when the shield is down, you do a lot more damage anyway, and then it also has stun vulnerability. So that's why these numbers are just bonkers. I'm trying to parry the end of that just to keep the spacing close to her. I don't always land the parry. There you saw a stun. I don't get the stun reflected back to me because I'm stun immune when I'm attacking. Really good timing on this Special 1 because it reapplies the poison, so the shield is down again. She's just freely throwing those heavies, but I'm not really seeing this fight getting out of control. Only one dimension is open. She's really freely throwing that Special 1, so it's not a huge deal, and this should be enough to take her down. So in some ways, that fight went smoother than the last time. In other ways, she was throwing heavies all over the place like she likes to do, but overall, I do think Apocalypse is a really good counter. As long as you safely land your first Special 1, the fight kind of takes care of itself. I had the Special 3 shield buff on, or excuse me, what is it called? Boost, which is like take 33% less damage from a Special 3. So just in case I had to push her there and I didn't have invuln, that would certainly have saved me with Apocalypse's health pool, and it was fine. So yeah, interesting war. I think our BG is doing really well, and we had a really good war today, really tight. The rest of the alliance had a little bit of a step back, but we were going up against Iso8a, who we typically have some trouble against, and they are just perennially a very, very tough war alliance. They have a very smart defense, lots of stacked defenders. You know, if you're fighting a Korg, you know it's going to be SIG 200. You know, they've got a lot of the new champs. They have a ton of rank 4s, lots of rank 4 Dooms and Apocalypses for attack. So yeah, it was an uphill battle the whole time, and we didn't quite get there. But definitely a learning experience, and we have 2 more wars to try to win at least one and stay in Masters. So anyway, hope you're enjoying the rank 4 Apoc gameplay. I definitely am. Man-Thing returned. Pretty clean war for me overall. I'm very happy with it. Very proud of the BG as well. And the rest of the alliance, we will get there. We know what to do, and I'm sure we're going to buckle down these last 2 wars. Thanks for checking out the video, and I'll catch you in the next one.